Good evening to you. I'm Danilo Evangelista, and welcome to our late evening update on Hurricane Melissa, which is continuing to intensify right now, even as we are heading into the late night hours. And we've gone through an intensification phase with the storm throughout the entire day, but yet it is still intensifying. In fact, it probably looks even better on satellite now than it did earlier today. And as of the latest recon data that we're now getting from the recon flights that are currently inside the storm, they are now finding that Melissa is one of the most intense hurricanes in the Atlantic on record. It's not the most intense, but it is now approaching one of the most intense storms, definitely now within the top 10. And I'll show you that by taking a look at the latest advisory from the National Hurricane Center as of 11 o'clock. Maximum sustained winds are at 175 miles per hour. Definitely, that alone is already on the top end of winds that we don't typically see often in the Atlantic. But we are seeing it with Melissa, and a minimum pressure of 903 millibars. And since then, since the 11 o'clock advisory, the pressure has likely dropped even more. And as I'll show you in a moment, the latest recon center pass in a drop zone found the pressure likely down at least 900 millibars. And we still have yet to get more recon data, um, at least more recent recon data within the last half an hour from the eye. And I would not be surprised if by now, honestly, um, that the storm is indeed um, below 900 millibars in terms of its pressure, and that alone is a very, very historical and extreme feat that you really don't see often at all in the Atlantic. But we did see it last year with Milton, and very interestingly enough, we are seeing it a second year in a row, more than likely, with Melissa. And I don't think that happens often in the Atlantic, or I don't think it's even happened at all before in history where we've gotten two straight years with the storms having pressures in the Atlantic below 900 millibars. Definitely been a very strange few years indeed. But I do want to show you how the satellite looks, because it definitely makes sense that this storm is honestly below 900 millibars in terms of its pressure now, because just look at this satellite appearance. Just absolutely incredible, especially for a storm in the Atlantic. You typically don't get this kind of look from a hurricane, except if you are looking at a Western Pacific typhoon. And it really does kind of look like we've almost stolen a Western Pacific typhoon and then plopped it down right in the middle of Caribbean. And unfortunately, this is going to be a storm that is heading straight for Jamaica, and it is likely going to make landfall as a Category 5. Hopefully, not as strong as it is right now, but you can already see the inner portions of the CDO already starting to seep their way into the Jamaican coastline. And this probably will make a landfall sometime tomorrow on the island of Jamaica. But I mean, just look at these pink convective cloud tops. That is at least negative 80 degrees Celsius in terms of the cloud top measurings here on the satellite. And, this is just absolutely incredible. I mean, especially in, the frame here where we have almost a perfectly round CDO, and it just looks so smooth. Again, this is just a look that you don't get at all very typically with a hurricane in the Atlantic. Yet we are seeing it here right now with Melissa, and it is still continuing to intensify. This was the recon once they got into the storm earlier. They found a pressure in the upper 900s, lower 910s. It went from, I don't know what the exact pressure here, but maybe it's 910 millibars, and then to 907, and then 903, and then the latest pass within the storm at 902. And it looks like they might be going in for yet another center pass. Although, unfortunately, let me actually really quickly go back here. Actually, I don't think they've crossed. Yeah, they did actually cross the eye in the latest recon flight, but for some reason, um, the pressure data, the live pressure data from Recon is not working right now. Sometimes, I don't know, it just happens sometimes that, unfortunately, the live data from Recon ends up breaking, but they still, do dropsondes, and that is how we end up finding what the pressure of the storm is, because they drop dropsondes right into the eye, which measure the exact pressure, and then we extrapolate that and use that as the official pressure for its intensity. And we're probably going to get one here, another one with Melissa, in just a few minutes. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to present it here on the update tonight, but we'll be able to, or I'll definitely try to make sure I post it on Twitter, before I go to bed. But I would not be, once again, surprised if we find the pressure below 900 millibars, because the most recent dropsonde was, I think this was around 11 o'clock. This is the launch time. It's 3Z, and that roughly equals 11 o'clock Eastern time. And then they found a pressure at 902 millibars with winds at 22 knots. So that means you have to extrapolate it down 2 millibars. So the official pressure we got was 900 millibars, and this was roughly about an hour ago. And the pressure has been dropping at least a millibar or two per hour. So it would not be shocking if the latest dropsonde we end up getting a reading of 897, 898 millibars. Not sure exactly, but what I do know for sure is that this will be one of the most intense. This will go down in the end as one of the most intense hurricanes on record in the Atlantic, and definitely will go down as the most intense hurricane for Jamaica. And the best way to sum it up is this key message here from the National Hurricane Center as of their 11 o'clock advisory, and this is what I'm going to end off with. And if you are in the island of Jamaica, you better remember this, and you better be heading to your safe spot right now, because things are really about to deteriorate in the next few hours. But here's the key message out of Jamaica from the 11 o'clock advisory. Remain in your safe shelter. And if you're not already in a safe shelter yet, then I really don't know what the hell you're doing, to be completely honest with you. So get into a safe shelter right now if you're not already in one. Catastrophic flash flooding and numerous landslides are expected through Tuesday. That's also part of the other issue that I've been talking about that would occur with Jamaica, is the heavy rainfall, the very, very heavy rainfall, likely areas to see 3 to 4 feet of rain in portions of the island of Jamaica. And, the biggest hazard from that is mudslides and landslides, and that causes a lot of, damage as well. But this is especially very, very ominous. The eye wall's destructive winds may cause total structural failure, particularly in higher elevations, leading to widespread infrastructural damage, prolonged power and communication outages, and isolated communities. Along the southern coast, life-threatening storm surge and damaging waves are anticipated through Tuesday. Failure to take immediate action may result in serious injury or significant loss of life. And that is probably one of the most ominous National Hurricane Center messages I have ever seen. And I think it's fitting for what is about to happen here with Jamaica, especially now that Melissa is one of the most intense hurricanes on record in the Atlantic, and it is still strengthening as we speak. So batten down the hatches. And I mean, you really should have already been batting down the hatches by now, but remain indoors. And the best thing you can do now is pray and hope for the best. You don't really have much time anymore to, get your plans ready, because likely tropical storm conditions are already being felt along pretty much everywhere in Jamaica right now. And hurricane force winds are more than likely going to begin in a matter of hours. And then eventually we're going to have to deal with the wrath of the Category 5 extreme winds that will be crashing on shore sometime tomorrow morning. And I do say it's probably going to be Category 5. I mean, you never know. Maybe this could potentially weaken below that. But that is the way it is looking like right now. And we will continue to update you throughout the day. I'm going to have an update tomorrow morning as soon as I wake up. So roughly around 7:30 or so, maybe 8. So stay tuned for that. And if things align well enough tomorrow, I just maybe might be able to do a landfall live stream to go over Melissa as it will be making landfall in the island of Jamaica tomorrow. So make sure to stay tuned for that. And you can do that by subscribing to my YouTube channel if you haven't already done so. And I know that a lot of people have been. So please make sure to do that. And I welcome your subscription if you do it. It's free, no money needed, at least for YouTube. And also make sure to follow me on Twitter too, so you can get more updates there as well. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, everyone. Stay safe, especially if you're in the island of Jamaica. May God be with all of you, even if you don't believe in it. I hope that everything will be the best for you. We will continue to monitor Melissa, and I'll be back with more, a lot more, tomorrow.